This is not a test.
This is an emergency broadcast. In the event you start showing your ass, the bags moving too fast for cash, doing too much too fast. They say the last will be first and the first will be last.
I'm watching. I'm stepping back. I'm watching. Counseling, we talked about that. Awareness of like your life. You go through all these types of things when you take a look at your personality, you take a look at your people, try to begin to understand your makeup, all those types of things. And then you got to take a look at your actions on both sides. You got to figure out all this stuff out. And your addictions, let's be honest, man. We all have addictions.
Wow.
That's a serious thing, right? Nobody's talking about these types of things, man, but we do things in the dark that nobody else knows about. It ain't nobody else's business. But we have things that are, to us, our thing. So all those things got to be figured out, man, before you can heal and go deal with anybody else. Well, you got to heal that, man. You got to figure out all those things, man, or all you doing is bringing trauma to somebody, or vice versa.
Yeah, that's big, Feet. That's real big. I mean, one thing that I learned is when I go through adversities, man. I've never been married, but I had a couple serious breakups. But what I always held true to was self. You know what I mean? I gotta go through what I gotta go through. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna pull nobody else into that. I might burn some people's ears up. You know what I'm saying? But I gotta deal with those demons personally before I can take a step in a positive step in a new direction. You know what I mean? I gotta embody it. I gotta let it come all in, let it hit me. I gotta go through whatever feelings, emotions that I'm gonna go through about that, man. And you gotta do it in a transparent nature. I'm not saying run out in the street and what I'm saying, but you gotta deal with yourself. I think that's what you're saying, man.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be real with yourself, man. Yeah, before you before you bring that to somebody else.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people just look for the mask, man. You know what I mean? They want the Band-Aid real quick and act like it never happened.
And oh, my bad, go ahead.
Nah, but I'm saying all I was gonna say is, in that right there, there's so much that's left unresolved. I mean, and they got to go somewhere at some point.
The one thing about betrayal, too, we talking about it, is betrayal comes from close, man. It ain't somebody that you got out here. It's somebody that's right here in your pocket. Do you know what I mean? They right up close. They know everything about you.
How about this? It may come from self.
Exactly.
Can you elaborate on that, Mil?
I mean, well, you got people out here living lies, man. People out here doing things that ain't in their character, man. You know what I'm saying? So, they live in a fabricated existence for whatever reason. You know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say with that is when do you ever get to be yourself? If you always got a mask on, like when are you ever you?
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm just trying to fake it till I make it, man. What you tell those people?
Listen, that's that social media stuff, man. You see these social media stars out here on Facebook, right?
And also, we betray ourselves too when we go.
Well, keep on trying, brother. Let me know how successful you become with that one.
See this on that point, we betray ourselves as well. When we go against our better judgment, our higher interest. When we go against our principles and things we know, and that's where we get the backlash. And that's where the learning comes in. That's where the learning starts. If we live through it. But yeah, that betrayal can come, in those forms, real rap, especially for self.
You just stepped on the landmine with that one. We betray ourselves.
Yes.
By ignoring our higher self.
You know
what I mean? Allowing our animal instinct override intellectual instinct. You know what I
So
mean?
so let's just
Absolutely.
let's just say the riddle of the Sphinx is real.
Yeah.
It's real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a constant battle, you know, and excuse me, that's a constant battle, and it's a worthwhile, you know,
That's a necessary battle. I
journey
agree.
now, you know, as I look at it. Before it was more, I looked at it in a more, I don't want to puncture nobody, but I looked into the state more of a versus as opposed to, you know, it elevating me, you know, it challenging me and trying to bring out the best in me.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
I think for me, I think I'd look to harness it, and now I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking to control it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think I'm saying the same thing you just said, though, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Dred, before we pivot, I'm just curious, man, and I think a lot of our viewers may be curious too. So, if I don't have, the four wise men that I could come to, an OG I can talk to, family members that it's hard for me to trust with my personal feelings. How everybody feel about therapy? Is that an outlet? Is that a real outlet? I know we're dealing with it, it was
hell
being
yeah.
stigmatized. Is therapy necessary if we need it?
Hell yeah.
Need some
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
therapy now.
Listen, man, I'll tell you like this. I'm gonna tell you how crazy, because I work in the therapeutic. I've done a lot of work in therapeutic settings. You know what I'm saying? So with that came the option. A lot of times when you work in those settings, they open up the door and give you the option if you need that as an employee or as a staff member or whatever. So sometimes I took them up on they offer. I would be in there with a white person that had no real clue or relationship or understanding of anything that I'm saying in fullness, in heart. You know what I mean? But I will say this: at that stage of my life, just being in a circumstance where I allowed myself to feel comfortable speaking to somebody that really ain't judged me either way, it could care less. Hearing myself talk, hearing what was coming out of my mouth, that was the wake up call for me. Like, man, I've been through some shit. And that just came from me listening to myself talk. I'm not gonna sit in the room and say that shit out loud to myself. At least at that time, I wasn't thinking. I mean, but just having somebody to talk to, that's my point. You know what I mean? In a therapeutic setting, allowed me to learn so much about myself, including while working in that field. You know what I mean?
Powerful.
Yeah. So like
Absolutely.
But you asked the question. You asked the question. Excuse me, Mill. You asked the question if you don't have the four wise men as well. Like, what do you do in terms of therapy? But even if you don't have therapy as an option, right? I just wanted to add. This came to mind when you asked that question. If you don't have a counselor to go to, there's this scene that I saw in a Fela documentary, musician named Fela Kuti, where he said, "I keep death in my back pocket." That's something when he said that it stuck with me. It took me back to some other things that I came across in my teachings, things that I read by Carlos Castaneda and people like that, and in some Buddhist teachings where they talk about the nothingness or use death as an analogy to talk about a bigger point. That's something that really woke up inside of me. Like I became real friendly with the concept of death. You know what I'm saying? What I learned is these concepts, the occult world, death, Satanism, and all of this. This is stuff that they take and they manipulate and twist it and add their own vile definition or way with it and use it against us. Essentially, when you go back to the root of those teachings, having a relationship with the darkness, the dark realms, what we consider death, it don't have to be in a superstitious way. Like even some people, I mean, some people do use it that way as well. But I'm just talking about the simplicity of just understanding, like, oh, all this is gonna come to an end. You know what I'm saying? When I look at shit like Bob Marley said, when he get into conflict, he just pictured a man as a baby. Like that's doing the same thing in reverse, like seeing that every man was once a baby. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I just look at life like, when I was out there on the street the other night, I just look at it like, yo, all this shit coming at some point, everything comes to an end and transitions into a new beginning. And that is
Indeed.
so much power that comes out of that. Moments
Mm-hmm.
of conflict when you think that way. You know what I'm saying?
I like, yeah. you referred to Don Juan, Carlos Castro talking about that death, where he says death was your best advisor. You know, when you think that the world's coming down on you, all is so bad, say just look to your left and ask death. He said death is always to your left and at just a touch away. He said, he said, anytime you think life is bad or it's getting overbearing or love, so just turn to your left and ask death advice. And death will tell you, no, it's not as bad because I haven't touched you yet.
It's powerful, man.
Yeah, boo, you just summed it all up. That right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cut you in on that T-shirt, Voo.
You better Google me.
Hey, Voo. Hey, Voo, I'm gonna give you a royalty on that T-shirt, bro. Run that one by me again.
Yeah, I was about to say I need to. It ain't that bad because I ain't touched
it.
It
Ain't
yet.
that bad because I ain't touched you yet.
Absolutely. That's too real when you put it in that light, bro. Because we be into things and things overwhelm us.
Woo.
But when they compare, he's saying compared to death, it seems petty.
Yeah, that's the yo. You just summarized.
I totally get that.
Yeah,
I totally understand that.
you just wrapped it all up.
Yeah. Just look to your left. That's death.
Huh?
That's some shit there.
It ain't that bad because I ain't hit you yet. Bang.
Straight up, yo. Yo, that
So,
shit.
But Raheem, on that therapy piece, man, was started off, we all need therapy. I wish I could pull up the clip by what's your girl name? Joyce Leary. She talks about how, when they took an elephant, they did a study about elephants and other animals when they took them away from their parents, when they saw abuse, when they were mistreated, how it traumatically affected the elephant or the animal, right? How just being separated from his parents, being forced into labor, seeing other animals and kindred die. So she was talking about our experience. She said, you think that it may have affected us just a little, So did anybody ever get our therapy? So back to the maladaptive characteristics, right? So we all need some type of therapy. It come in many forms. You got professional, we got what we doing here. Amos Wilson talking about us building what we trying to do collectively is one of the best forms of therapy for our group and our people, you know what I mean? Trying to rebuild, and have some type of platform to build on. But the therapy, absolutely, that piece, I would suggest it in any form that's good for the individual.
Yeah, that's
I second that. To your point, if you don't have a team, I think you should be about the business of building one. That's a nice accountability piece for self. You know what I mean? Checks and balances, counterbalances, the whole nine. If you're that independent, then yeah, you might have to go seek something out professionally. But you got to get that shit out of you.
I know in the corporate realm, the companies that I've been associated with, that's one of the first things they kind of push you towards is finding a mentor. There's that word again.
It's all good.
But yeah, they push you to find an advisor, man.
Jegna. I think one word, I forget what, I'm going to find out what tongue that is. I know they say Jegna, like a elder or,
Jegna. Yeah, they push you to find a Jegna. Because of just what Ramil was saying. So yeah, you have to find somebody that's going to be real with you. That's going to be objective. And it's tough because everybody's not equipped to be your mentor.
Your advisor.
Your advisor.